Hi there and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to demonstrate this technique using a filter, but it will work on pretty much any slider within Photopea. So we'll go to the filter menu and we'll go to distort and pinch. So as you can see, the pinch filter's kicked in and it defaults to a negative 100%, which is not pinching, it's doing the opposite. It's like ballooning out the image from the middle of the canvas. But if we go to plus 100%, it does the opposite. So now it's pinching, so it's pushing the center of the canvas in, but keeping everything round the extremities. But the thing to note on this adjustment and many adjustments like it is it maxes out whether it be 100% or a certain amount of pixels depending on the adjustment, and you cannot drag the slider anymore. But what you can do is forget about the slider and manually override the effect using the amount box. So if we go minus 200, as you can see now, the slider can't move anymore, but you can manually override to pretty much whatever figure you like. So let's try minus 400. And now we're getting into really bizarre territory with this. And you can see how you can have a lot of fun with this on all the different filters and effects and really push them past the boundaries of where they're supposed to be. And if you go crazy high, let's just try 700. It starts to really fall apart and you get some really abstract results. If you go too high, it just ends up not really doing anything. So I'm just going to close that a second. So that's great for exaggerating your effects, but it has got useful properties as well. I've just created this text, as you can see, and I'm just using this as an example of a technique where if I've got text on top of an image and its legibility is not great, one of the things I like to do is to add an outer glow behind the text, but in a very subtle way. So what I'd normally do is go to outer glow, choose a appropriate dark color, set the blend mode to multiply. I would just increase the size until it got quite big and soft. It did help with the stand out a little bit, but unfortunately now you can't really push this. Like you can't really add some spread value or decrease the range because now it starts to look like really obvious black dark glow. It looks quite harsh now because the actual size of the glow isn't any bigger. So again, we can use the technique of pushing the values to our advantage. As you can see here, the size is just maxed out at 200 pixels. So that's as much as you get. This as well will let you type in manually. So I'm going to say, no, I don't want to stop at 200 pixels. I want to try 500 pixels. And now what it's done, as you can see, it's made the glow huge. But because it's gone so big, it's also had a natural softening effect. So the glow is now covering a larger area, but it's still visible and it's a lot softer. Now, hopefully you can see on the areas of white just how large but very, very soft and subtle that glow is. And it's just enough to make sure you can read that text, but no one looking at this image would assume that there was some kind of glow on it or anything like that. But if I turn the effects on and off, you can see what kind of benefits that's having. And it just allows you to push things like stroke is another one. So let me show you that as an example, because this is super useful to know. If you wanted to put a border around an image, by the way, or a frame, this is the easiest way to do it. You just double click on the pixel layer to get into the layer styles, click stroke, position on it inside, and then you can just change the size and just quickly add a border to your image, which is great. But the higher resolution your image is and the larger your image is, because this isn't done on a percentage, it's done on an amount of pixels, you can get to a point where you could have the size dragged all the way to the top and the border or the frame might still not be thick enough. Let's say, for an example, you wanted to go really extreme and you wanted this to close in a lot more on the image. Again, you can't do anything with the slider. That's as good as you get. But as per the other examples, we could go and just override that value in 400 and then you get a really big thick border that closes round. Well, if you enjoyed this video, please check out another one of my tutorials on how to use the liquify tool, which can get you some really fun and crazy results also. Thanks for checking it out.